So let's talk for just a moment about some really tragic circumstances in the state. A lot of our state is on fire right now.
Yes.
Over 100,000 acres already burned, thousands of people evacuated. And our lieutenant governor had some pretty sharp words about why he thinks this happened. Rod, why don't we start with you?
Well, it goes to the debate over forest management, and this has been going on. This happened last year down at Bryce Canyon when they had the fire down there. There were concerns that management of the forest aren't being done properly. There's been a debate in this latest fire, has the federal government responded properly? We've got to figure this out. What we need more than anything right now, though, is just a little rain would certainly help it out. We are so dry here, and it's the debate over forest management, I think.
It has been over 4 weeks since we've had water, so also obviously that is playing into it. But with the Pole Creek fire, it started really small, and when we're talking about fires, they are a necessity to some point. It's a kind of Mother Nature's way of keeping the forest, the wildland under control as there's a fire and things will be fine. So the Forest Service decided to watch it, but then September 12th happened. We had the dry wind, we had kind of Mother Nature taking over, and it absolutely exploded. So you had something that was being watched, so they say, and then Mother Nature stepped in, and we have a horrific event. Thousands of people evacuated. I do think you make a good point. We just need to be watching these situations so carefully, and the federal land and local government needs to work better together, that we're monitoring something, and then if Mother Nature does rear her ugly head and make a decision, we can as quickly as possible stop something that is now one of the biggest fires in our state's history.
And we're going to have to plan for it because because this is something that's happening in California, and now it's happening here. The dryness that you mentioned, the extreme weather, that's just, it's happening. That's our problem across the Southwest and the West. We see hurricanes in the east that are more severe.
So there's the preparation part, but what are we supposed to do as a state? A huge portion of our state is controlled by the federal government, and particularly in these lands where they have a say initially on this. So where do we go with this as a state? Because this is a federal decision having real impacts on our state. Where do we go with that? Max,
it's certainly the federal government. Spencer Cox issued that complaint, and he says he's going to revisit it after. Right now, he doesn't want the focus to be on that because there's still so many people evacuated. Thank goodness, the only thing that's burned in terms of a structure is a shed. But yeah, it's worth pushing that point on how you manage now. But what Emily said is right, that you had a small fire. They thought they had it contained. I don't know what containment means. I'm not an expert, but then all of a sudden we got all this wind and these red warning, red flag days.
And I think it begs the question that you brought up, and Emily did as well. You've got to have better coordination between the federal and state government. You've got to be able to act quickly on this.
So the last point on this, so Emily, there's been this talk about the BLM moving to Utah. If that were to happen, would this coordination, do you think, happen?
You would hope so, but just because they're up the road doesn't necessarily mean they're talking to each other. So while that might be a great thing to look forward to, the bottom line is federal, local leaders need to be working together. This small fire needs to be monitored, and then if it becomes big, we need to work together. And while we talk about these big picture ideas coordinating, we must remember the firefighters, those people on the ground working so hard, leaving their families. It is their job, but they're trying to protect homes, protect people. It's the people above them who are needing to be a little more coordinated.
Absolutely right. I have the feeling if the three of you are in charge, this will be taken care of.
Oh, yeah, no.
We could talk. We don't need to be.
Max would have his bucket of water ready to go.
That's true. Well, our hearts go out to those impacted and the firefighters that work on them. Thank you for your thoughts.